Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe to the channel. It's Christmas Day today, and to be fair, I wasn't quite planning on making a video. But somebody asked me in the comments of yesterday's video, Martin, can you talk us through the holiday auction week 2? Because there's a lot of tempting tanks currently available, and I would like to have some guidance, so here you go. I'm going to talk you through all the tanks, and Wargaming actually made a little bit of a mistake. Because if you're going to scroll through this list, you're going to see a tank that isn't currently in the auction. So it's either going to be in week 3 or... and I think it will be available in week 3 because it's a fan favorite. They're going to put it right in the store for just solid gold like they've done with the T22 medium. So that's another thing to keep in mind. The T22 medium is available in the store at the moment for 20,000 gold, I think. 22 for a tank with a camouflage, but 20,000 for just a tank. So keep that in mind if you want to spend anything. What do we have then? This one's available, the Badger. Really good tier 10 British tank destroyer, high HP, strong frontal armor, but obviously once you get flanked, bye-bye Badger. Accurate 120 through 23mm gun with 280 on its AP shot at 370 as you can see, 460 alpha, and this is a bit of a DPM machine. Gun elevation is really nice with minus 10 degrees. Gun arc a bit limited, minus 10 to the left and 10 to the right, minus 10 to the left and 10 to the right. But yeah, it has got a good hit point pool, and the hull armor 215 is not that bad whatsoever. You do need to have a tank that will protect you on the side or on the rear, because as said, if you get flanked, bye-bye Badger. AMX-30B. I don't think this one needs any introduction whatsoever. We've just published a video on the channel, I think about 2.5 weeks ago. I'll link in the description right over there so you can take a look on that tank. But this is a solid one. I think I would put this one on maybe spot 2 shared with the Badger. Why spot 2 then, Marty, you may ask? Just watch, keep watching guys. Kampfpanzer. The Kampfpanzer Zipzig, stocky heavy with a strong turret. Yes it does. Blocks enemy damage effectively while hiding its frontal armor behind cover. Yeah, indeed. It's a tank with a big gun, but a little bit of disappointment as well. What's the disappointment then? Well, you do have a 152mm gun, but as you can see, you're dealing 560 in terms of alpha on your AP, 490 on heat, and 640 on HE. That's a little bit annoying. It really is. I mean, 560 alpha is fine, but remember, it is a 152mm gun, and a lot of the 150 and 152mm guns and 155s on the American tanks, they deal 640, and you deal 560. So don't expect to have that monstrous derp, even though you have the gun handling of a derp. That's a little bit annoying, especially the HE is only 80 above your APCR on your standard damage. So that is a little bit annoying. Plus 6 degrees of gun depression. Not brilliant, but it makes up for that, I think, in terms of frontal armor on the hull and on the turret. It is really blocky on the front, as you can see over there. And it applies all these parameters apply to a vehicle with the crew trained to 100%. But it is a collector / premium one, so all the crews are trained to 100% anyways. Fit in the equipment provisions, maybe a little bit of adrenaline, and you can pump up all these skills a little bit more. Then we have this one, the unflappable Carnarvon Action 10. Sturdy protected turret with a little bit of spaced armor, effective gun, and it is a bit of a ploink gun, meaning that you will deal only 190 on AP, but your penetration is really good. Take a look at that 226. 226 on AP is more than enough to go through most of the weak spots. I'd say 95% of the weak spots of all the tanks you will be facing in tiers 7, 8 and 9. And your rate of fire, 12.5 rounds a minute, stock. It makes this the tank the permatrack king of tier 8. If you are hull down and if you are facing off against, say, a KV4, against an ST1, against fixed gun tank destroyers, you will just go blink, 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 and they just can't move. They will not be able to repair quick enough. And since you have a single shot gun, not an autoloader nor an auto reloader, you can just keep permatracking them with an autoloader, you can track them and then retrack them maybe 2 or 3 times. But this one can just keep doing that, especially if you drop the adrenaline and if you are in a platoon or together with a big gun tank destroyer. this vehicle is hilarious. I would put this one on spot number 1 for the tanks to get. This one is a bit of a boo-boo by Wargaming. I'm not going to tell you anything about the Progetto because it's actually not in the auction. We're going to see that later on. But if they will change the auction, if they will put it back, I would go for this one together with the Carnarvon Action 10 at spots number 1 for getting the tanks from the auction itself. Then this little bugger over here, the Lorraine, the finisher, the French Clipper. This is a really nice one. This is a medium tank by class, as you can see, but in playstyle it's more of a light tank. You can see it doesn't have any armor. There it is, 55, 30, 20, 40, 30, 25. It doesn't have any armor whatsoever, but it has a great gun with 4 shells in the magazine and 212 on penetration. That's not bad whatsoever. If you would use calibrated shells, you would get it up to 225, 230, I think. And shell reload is just nice. Within 10 seconds you will deal 900 of damage and then you will just race off again and hopefully reload. It's not for the faint of heart at this one. This is not an easy tank to play in the current meta because you don't have any armor, but you do have firepower and you do have mobility. So if you want to have a tier 8 tank that is a bit different from all those 122mm Chinese heavies and Soviet heavies, this one is a good one to go for. Then we have this T25 Pilot Number 1. T25 Pilot Number 1? What's a T25 Pilot Number 1, you may say? Well, a T25 Pilot Number 1 is an American medium tank, a maneuverable tank, as you can see, which has an accurate gun. And an accurate gun is always nice to have. It is fast firing. It is indeed maneuverable and it has good mobility. It picks up speed quite well too, and it has a solid turret. Solid. We all know what solid means. That means that you can bounce the occasional shell from same tier tanks and lower tier tanks, but if everybody loads premium ammo, they will punch right through. But Wargaming aren't lying when they say excellent gun stabilization. This vehicle can unleash destructive fire even when racing at full speed. In a way, it can. It has one of the best dispersion on the move values for tier 8 medium tanks, and is basically a what would it be, a stock? Yeah, it would be a stock Pershing, I think, but then a premium one. Then again, they've just sold the T26 E5, so why would you want to get this one? Because the T26 E5 has more hit points and practically the same armor profile, even if it has a little bit less in terms of mobility. Because of the gun, that's a bit of a letdown. 192 on AP, that is not brilliant. 225 of damage. The rate of fire is good enough, but unless you can flank and unless you can go hull down behind the ridge and then poke over with your turret, this is not a really enjoyable tank to play. But if you like your mobile American tanks, this is not a bad one whatsoever. Dracula, we don't really need to speak about this one because it is a well-known tank and a fan favorite, which we're going to see in just a few seconds, I think. And the Helsing is a really well-known tank destroyer as well. Formidable tank destroyer, stylish hull, high speed, rapid firing gun, and it lets loose 2 shells at a time with just about, I'd say, half a second interclip thereabouts. 200 per shell, so 400 in the burst, which is interesting to play. Was even less, 0.25, quarter of a second, as you can see. It takes 10 seconds to reload. 170 on AP is not good. 220 on AP shot is goodish, but not brilliant. And damage 200 per shell, as you can see. But it has a really... can we get a good photograph of that one? It has a really strongly angled front plate that is so incredibly true, and the turret has no real armor, but you can see it's all made of nooks and crannies and weird angles, and it's really small as well, so it can just sit behind the ridge like this and unleash fire on the enemy. This is a formidable tank destroyer, and this one is a fan favorite. So let's hop into the auction. Now we're going to see this T25 Pilot. 175 vehicles sold. This is one of the least played vehicles in the game. Actually, it's the second least least played vehicle in the game. The ML 1951, the upcoming Swedish premium tank, is the least played one. Then we have the I6 Fearless, and then this one. Even the Kennyotsu, which is a rare tank, is played more than the T25 Pilot Number 1. AMX 30B. No wonder it's not a miracle this one isn't sold a lot, because it has been available in the store just now. Not bad whatsoever, as you can see, but the price could drop to 12,500. I think there will be more than enough vehicles available, and the price for the M60 ended up at 12,500 in the end. So if you want to get this one, just wait, guys. Wait until the end of week 2. Lorraine 40T, already quite a good price, but if it's going to drop even lower, then by all means get it. It is a steal for a tier 8 vehicle. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a salesman for Wargaming, but less than 7k for a tier 8 tank is always a good buy. Badger, same as with the AMX 30B. I would try to go for one of these if you have the money, if you want to shell out the gold. It's possible, obviously, but wait for this one for the price to drop even more. And what we're going to do next is scroll towards the side. Yeah, you can see the Kampfpanzer, 10,500 gold. Next price, 10,000. This is reaching the regions of a solid price for a tier 9 vehicle. And there's still a fair few left, as you can see. Helsing, there's a fair few left as well, but 12,000 gold for a tier 7 tank? And there's still that many left? Yeah, this is pretty steep. I wouldn't do this if I were you, to be honest. I doubt you will be able to get it outside of the auction, because Wargaming know everybody wants this tank, but 12,000 for tier 7? That's a bit steep. And talking about a bit steep, let's scroll all the way towards the left. 1,096! Oh, 1,100. 1,100. 1,100. Okay, whatever. But still, guys, 12,000 gold. When I started this video, I took a look at the auction. Oh, there it is back here. I took a look at the auction, and there were like 1,250, 1,300 thereabouts available. We've done 12 minutes now. Within 12 minutes of the video, they have sold tanks, and now they sold 5 more again at 12,000 gold. If you want to get this one, you need to shell out the gold, but you can get tier 8 tanks as well. In fact, at 12,000 gold, if you would wait a little bit, you could get the Lorraine probably, plus the T25 Pilot for the same price. And in terms of mobility, the 25 Pilot doesn't make up for the Dracula. But in terms of mobility, the Lorraine matches the Dracula. 12,000 gold for a tier 7 medium tank. That's quite good. That's really good. But this is a little bit power crap, guys, in all things considered. And 12,000 gold. It's just monsters. Martin, what would you then buy from this lot? I would probably go for this one at spot number 1, the Carnarvon Action 10. And then maybe together with the Lorraine and or the Progetto, if that's going to be available. FV and AMX 30B in spot number 2. Kampfpanzer in spot number 3. And we would end up with the T25 Pilot number 1, because that is a solid tank. But tier 8 is infested with a lot of good or let's say better premium tanks than this one. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe. Thank you very much for watching. I catch you all on the next one. Cheers, happy tanking, bye bye, Merry Christmas to you all.